Okay, so right now we are here with Martin Wolf, the World Brewers Cup champion 2024. And here on the computer is his winning routine. So right now we plan to watch it together and share some secrets and thoughts and ideas that were behind, and maybe something that went really well and something that maybe didn't went that well, but still enough to win the trophy, right?
So I will share some insights with you, and I'm really excited as well because I never did that. But yeah.
First question: can you remember the moment you are on a stage right in front of the time? How did you feel? Like, what was happening in your head?
Yeah, I remember the moment well. This was the biggest goal I ever had, to go under the top 6 of the worlds. And everything in the morning went so smooth, went so good. The coffee was tasting on point. So I felt so comfortable, really. And everyone around said like, okay, you have done everything, just enjoy the moment. And I was really like backstage with my coach, Janine, and together with Hardy from Wölfl Cafe, and we had a really good time. We were joking around. I was like super relaxed as well. And I was like, I need to focus again. And I went outside to refocus myself. And I was, and I really enjoyed these 10 minutes. So yeah,
let's watch it.
A really good time. Let's watch it.
How many times did you watch it before? Like the
video?
Yeah, the video.
Let's say 4 to 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you having fun?
I'm super critical. Okay. So every word that is not on point, I'm super critical in general. So yeah, it will be fun to watch it with you.
Let's try it out.
Let's see.
Let's start.
And time. Innovations. How does it get there? It's about understanding.
Yeah, so maybe we want to stop in here because it's already after the first.
That was 5. That was fast. 7 seconds.
It's just the first sentence, but I have a really funny situation with that. So normally, and I told you I was playing drums in concerts, and the most important part is the beginning of a presentation or the beginning of a concert.
Okay.
And so I never messed up the beginning of every single presentation till I went to Chicago. The thing is, I was the second, like in general. And it seems like no one was really ready because I was the first one of my stage, and the microphone was not working, the camera was not ready, but the judges were sitting in front of me, and I was waiting and it was kind of cold because they love air conditioner. And suddenly the camera guy was jumping out and said like, start. And I was like, okay, time. In the first round, I was really like, everything was kind of black. And I missed my first sentence. And this was the worst experience I ever had. Then I made it to the final. And I was like, okay, I will do the first sentence. This will be like my chance right now to make the first sentence in a good way. But what I had no idea about, like immediately before I start, they make a capture from the first round at the video wall.
Oh, okay.
And at the video wall,
you did a mistake.
They mentioned my mistake. So I was hearing again the first sentence of the mistake I did, and I had a blackout again. So a blackout at the final. But somehow I made it through. But the first sentence was not on point. Yeah.
That was a lucky blackout.
Lucky blackout.
Controlling every single step and improving the results. It sounds easy, right? But we all know it isn't. My name is Martin, and today I want to introduce you to the people behind 6 innovations and want to show you how their innovation pushed our industry and inspired me as a barista to create new experiences for my guests. So let's get into it.
So did you know the judges? I always wonder, how is it how you can really focus on the judges themselves, or if you kind of tailor it towards them?
Yeah, I know them. So some of them had been before my judge at different nationals or worlds. And one was already my head judge. So you know the faces, but more or less, you're focusing on yourself and you try to, capture them as well. And so it's good to see familiar faces when you're at the finals and the people there. So it was a good experience because I had a good time on stage, and it seems so they give me also some feedback, some faces, some smile, and this is something like extra motivation when you are representing something on stage, when you get a smile back from the judges.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that they give me to make myself really comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had the feeling that they also enjoy the time on stage with me together. So it's crazy because right now it seems like I have immediately my situation while I'm presenting on stage, and a lot of people watching, and there's a live stream, it's the finals, so a lot of pressure. But to be really honest with you, it feels like you're there on your own together with the 4 judges, like 3 head judges and one hand judge, sorry, and 3 sensoric judges, and it feels like you're with them together and there is no one else.
Okay,
so you
that's
just
good.
block everything out there.
Yeah. Was it crowded actually? I haven't been in Chicago. Was it crowded, like the stage and
Like
the area?
Yeah, it was very early in the morning, but still there was a lot of people and also a lot of friends. So my coach Hadi was there, but also people from Seabarist. This guy came, and so it was good to see familiar faces.
Yeah, because you brought together like a lot of products that are full of passionate people, right? So that's, I guess.
Yeah, it's good to see the people, they support you over a couple of years, and it's good to see the faces at the finals day, because this is your time to shine, and it's good to have someone, a face you feel connected with, and you feel like, you're happy to see them.
First, I'm rinsing the paper filter and preheat my brewing devices for optimum temperature stability and to get a good balance of sweetness and acidity. To keep the intensity of flavor.
So you have a different kettle for the brewing and preheating?
No. It's the same kettle. Just one. There is more water into it for preheating that have enough water.
Flavor and aroma complex and lively, I'm freshly grinding my coffee for you today. With the first innovation, I want to introduce you to Kim and Lambert, the founders of Seabarist.
So you're grinding on stage. You wanna talk about it? It's not like I'm not sure how common it is now, or it was not that common. Like many of the brewers were grinding in a backstage and bringing coffee already. So how was your thought process?
Yeah, it's not that common, and I was the only one doing that. And when I'm not wrong, I'm the first one who won with grinding on stage the world title in Brewers Cup. And so how does it came? Obviously, it's a lot of more work you have to do, and you have 10 minutes, so you're limited in the time. But they changed the rules, they changed the regulations over the years. So my definition out of that and what they expect, I think, as a competitor, as a barista, is that you also show your barista skills. And we're also always grinding on, like in a cafe, we're always grinding fresh for our customers. And I was thinking about, okay, there are so many advantages that came with grinding fresh on stage, and there are more variables you can control. If there is a delay, if it's too cold already and you pre-ground the coffee away too long ago, the coffee will degas and you can't control it. And my goal was to control every single step that I can control. And grinding on stage was something I can control, like when I ground the coffee, how the coffee tastes actually. So there's nothing what I can't control. But you need to practice that. So it's something. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a high risk you can go with, but actually it went very, very, very good. But you need a couple of rounds to do it at home. So luckily I have the grinder in here in my showroom. So I practiced it a couple of times already. So this was, like, for myself, was a good decision, and I would love to see more competitors grinding on stage. Yeah.
They created a fast paper filter made of a pack of fibers to reduce the pipers and to guide a faster extraction. This allows me to use a finer grind size of 630 microns without any over extractions.
What's the music?
The music is not my music.
It's not your music?
No, it's not my music.
So in Brewers Cup you cannot choose?
You can choose your music, yeah. But through copyrights and everything, they're not allowed to put it online.
So it's not the music like
it's not the original music.
So what was your music? We can put it in the video.
We can do it right now. We can put your music. I mean, these are songs, so I put music together.
The reason I'm asking, because you are a musician, right? Like
So I'm not sure if many people know that, but like music for myself is really important. And so I wanted to get into the flow. So the main idea behind the music I choose, I wanted to get in the flow. I wanted to get the people relaxed, getting comfortable. But also, there are beats and rhythm where people are more focused. So if it's too hectic, you listen more to the music than to the one who is speaking to you. So my goal was to find a music where people get super focused. And so I was adding like kind of beats from different kind of DJs, but they're friendly, active, and you feel really comfortable in general when you're sitting there and listen to the music, but you're focused on the one who is speaking to you. And I had like really like accentuations, like I cut the music, that I know exactly if something is wrong with the timer. Can always happen, you know, that the battery of your timer or something is happening. I had like a sound accentuate from minute 8 to minute 9. I know exactly just while I'm listening to the music where I am in my speech, and you get immediately into the flow.
Nice. Well, we should kind of maybe upload it or like the share it.
We can share. We can make a playlist on Spotify or something.
Definitely.
You know? Just a
Sounds
competition
good.
music playlist.
Sounds good. Yeah.
The fine particles helps me to accentuate the red fruity notes of my lovely coffee today. To make sure that each of your cups are uniform, I'm measuring the grounds again. The coffee I'm using is Acacia from Finca Maya in Boquete region in Panama and grew at an altitude of 1,600 meters by Marek and Marek.
It's funny to watch.
What makes you laugh? Just like the...
No, in general, like to see it, and I mean, immediately when I see the video, I'm jumping back on stage, and you know, you can smell the stage. You immediately get the feeling. It was like quite cold, as I said, air conditioner, but I was warm on stage because I was like super active and.
So were you relaxed now, like at this stage, like already, like when you were in a routine, like everything when, I mean, because you did a mistake at the very beginning, right? So did it influence the kind of like the flow of like in say second minute, or it was already gone and you were in a good flow?
It was gone. So to prepare all these presentations, I did also already a lot of meditation and visualization, something I did a lot after Athens because I talked to you before, so I became second to last in Athens, so I changed a couple of things. And to get really ready on stage and to be really focused what you're doing and to be in the moment, because sure, you trained that for a couple of times, so maybe 100 of times I did this presentation. So every word is already in your head, but you need to stay and you need to control every single moment that's there, and you need to be focused and you need to be like present. And that something that make me ready for that is kind of meditation and visualization. So after the first sentence, as I told you, it doesn't went very good. I was like, okay, it's already done. I can't change it anymore, but I can control the rest after the first sentence. So I blocked it completely.
Okay.
And at this time I felt already like super relaxed, focused. But grinding on stage, this is also something you need to be like really like active, and you need to focus a lot because there are many things that can go wrong. For example, I have like one portion as an extra portion, but if something, if I drop a coffee on stage, I need to grind again, and then you're running out of time. So these kind of things. So after grinding on stage,
so that's the big step. Like one is ground, like you are more relaxed.
More relaxed.
Did you spot any additional mistakes you did already, or like?
No. Yeah. So everything in here was already quite good, and I'm happy with the workflow as well. Yeah.
Good. Let's continue.
They picked just the ripest cherries, and this led to the sweetness in my cup, paired with the floral characteristic the geisha variety has to offer. For the natural anaerobic processing, the cherries underwent 2 fermentation steps. Fred, the owner, took care of this processing in his special designed facility, the second innovation. So for the natural anaerobic processing, the cherries underwent 2 fermentation steps. First, with the yeast.
It's like the table size, as you maybe can see, is super low.
Low, yeah.
So we weren't expecting that. So it felt a bit uncomfortable when we were standing and brewing there, because when you're a bit taller, and I'm not the tallest, but there are really tall competitors out there, and there is a really low table, and you're really acting like completely. So you're really in front of the judges. So it's something you can't prepare very well. You're there.
You cannot.
You can't prepare it. You can't change it. But you have the orientation meeting, and it's always the day before, and then you get the extra information. It's the first time, for example, you also will see the place where you are competing, And but yeah, sometimes it looks a bit uncomfortable. This is because of the table size.
That's true.
The yeast Pichia Cluiveri for an exquisite orange and red fruity flavors. And second, with lactobacterials for a pleasant malic acidity. And this took 4 days in total. Friends, disinfected the cherry to get a controlled and clean fermentation. The cherries remain in the drying room for 33 days to stabilize the moisture content. Overall, this process leads to a cleaner and more sweeter cup of coffee with the tropical fruits and red fruits. Before brewing, I'm using this distribution tool with fine needles to evenly distribute the ground coffee. This helps me that the coffee gets rewarded at once, leading to more sweetness in my cups. To support the round and smooth texture and body, I'm using the Melo drip. This tool breaks up the water jet of my kettle into multiple droplets, which supports a uniform extraction for each of you.
What do you think so far when you see it?
I feel like you were relaxed, so it was smooth so far. Yeah, what do you think? I mean, what is in my mind is like, and this is what always like when I think about like the Brewers Cup Championship, especially, is like so much information. It's like you need to kind of like find a way how to tell them, you know. So you already said like you need a lot of practice actually to get it like so it looks smooth, and I guess pacing when to say what, so you can actually do something while brewing.
Do the score sheet and all. You have to put the informations about the coffees, about the process, about the flavor profile and everything. You need to explain as much as possible, but you need to find a way that is entertainment as well. And it don't get boring when you're just sitting there, because you know also the judges, they're listening to a bunch of people every day. And so you need to find a way that something is happening and you say entertainment.
So what was your way, like to kind of like say like I guess so you consider like you should in a way stand out of the crowd like and be recognizable. So what was your approach? I guess like the music, as you said, like music we are hearing is not the one that you. So that was one thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing. Well, I don't think like that. I need to find something that I'm standing out, but I want to focus on the things I would love to share. And I did like my main topic was about innovations. So I put together like 6 points, so it's easy to follow.
Structure.
So I have like 1 point, like the second step, third step, fourth innovation, fifth innovation, sixth innovations. So it's easy to follow through the whole topic. And many things are happening in between. So it's a mix between informations, but also like a smooth workflow with a lot of things that are happening on stage. So I was never standing still. So the whole 10 minutes, something was happening.
Okay.
So
So this is a little tricky because from the video it's not that visible because it's focusing on not on you as a presenter, but more on what's happening on a brewer. So so that's
But I wanted to have something is happening on stage. You know, that I will show my barista skills that I have, and grinding on stage, preparing everything, rinsing the paper filter, getting everything ready so that it feels like you're going to a coffee shop. You know, so I wanted to showcase also the coffee shop experience. So nothing is already ready when the judge is sitting there. I wanted to find a coffee shop experience for them as well, because from my side, they're not judges, they're guests, and this is my pop-up. And my pop-up is right now in Chicago, and I want to showcase what I learned.
Yeah, cool. I think now you already start brewing coffee, and like for any Brewers Cup Championship, coffee is a big part, right? Like to finding, then choosing and sourcing good coffee.
Yeah, this is the most important.
So I think you have also interesting, you have the interesting challenge, right? Like finding bringing your coffee.
Yeah, to bring my coffee, this was quite fun because I wanted to find something completely different. I wanted to make a spotlight to farms. They are not on the list on everyone. And through a friend of mine, Sam Cora, he went to Vienna and I asked him, do you have something for myself for the World Brewers Cup Championship in Chicago? And he said, he knows someone. He's called Franz from Lost Origin, and I should call him. And I was like, okay, I have never met him before, but I will call him. And I called him and said like, okay, my name is Martin. I'm competing again. I'm from Austria, and maybe you have a coffee that fits to what I'm looking for. And he was asking like, okay, what are you looking for? So I shared my kind of flavor profile with him, and he said like, okay, we just have a big challenge. The challenge is that the coffee that he think that fits will be harvested like in the 2nd to 3rd week of January, and the competition is already in April.
Okay.
And so I thought like, okay, but you know, I want to go all in. This year is the year where I want to practice, I want to do the things different, and I want to go all in. I want to see what's happening if I just take the risk, if I take everything out of it. And I said, okay, let's do it. And I never tried the coffee at the origin, so I completely trusted France and Lost Origin and said like, okay, I want to get this lot. And then he called me and said like, okay, the second challenge is we just have 3 kilos, but they're not ready. And my plan was to go to Panama and pick up the coffees because it was too late to send samples. It was too late to ship the coffee. So I was like, okay, maybe I can fly to Panama for 2 days to pick up the coffee and go back and practice. But I was like, okay, if you go to Panama 1 month before you go to Chicago just to get the coffee, it doesn't make sense. But then through a friend of mine, he got married in Panama. And Miguel texted me, yeah, I can manage it. After my wedding, I will go to the facility to Panama City to pick up your coffee and I will bring it to Germany. And through Germany, I can send it to Austria and then we're ready to go. And then he went to the facility and he called me and said like, but there are just 2 kilos left. So 2 kilos ready. And so he brought the 2 kilos back to Austria. He sent it to me. So it's the first time I had the coffee in my hand. And the 3rd kilo, I actually got through a friend, Andrea Tan, and she brought the 3rd kilo, she picked up the 3rd kilo from Panama City and brought it to Chicago, and I met her there. So this was the story how I get the coffee, and 3 kilos is the whole harvest, and it was like, okay, I trusted friends because no one used ever a Lost Origin coffee at the Worlds, and I felt really comfortable with sharing like this really great thing they're doing. Yeah.
Wow, that was quite an adventure story.
It is, yeah, but you know,
it was worth it apparently, right?
it was, yeah, but it's stressful as well, you know. So
Did you have a backup plan?
I had a backup plan. Yeah, I need to prepare something, you know. If you get the coffee and it doesn't fit what you're looking for, you need a backup. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. Like 1/3 of
My
the
guests,
presentation, right?
my brewing recipe today. I'm using 17 grams of ground coffee to 270 milliliters, 93 degrees water. This 1:16 brew ratio gives me an harmonious.
And if you want to learn details of the recipe, we just made a video with Martin that you can find on our YouTube channel.
Harmonious balance of sweetness and the tropical acidity. I will let my 60 milliliters bloom sit for 40 seconds to make sure that all the ground coffee gets saturated. Afterwards, I'm dividing my pour into 3 stages with the following poses: 60 milliliters at 40 seconds, 50 milliliters at 1 minute and 20, and 100 milliliters at 2 minutes to get a good complex flavor of the red fruity notes and a good balance.
Actually, when you look at the steam, you see how strong the air conditioner was because it's like moving really fast. You see it?
It's true. It looks like in the mountains, right?
Yeah,
like if you
really windy.
in the wind.
On the Link coffee roaster from the founder Sam Cora, the 3rd innovation for the day. A sample roaster that is operating.
I was just like wondering, is it a recipe that you actually use and at the stage, is it something that you kind of the recipe you already had developed and just kind of fine-tuned for this coffee you had, or it was kind of completely something new?
No, this is I already used this recipe in Athens as well, and this is, to be really honest with you, one of my favorite recipes I had, and it fits perfectly to this coffee as well. And I fine-tuned it a bit with temperature, a bit with grind size. But still, this is a recipe, as I told you in the tutorial, you can watch it, that this is my recipe for nearly every kind of coffee. Yeah.
Rating on a data cloud. The roaster shows you the perfect profile due to the density, the variety, and the process of this coffee.
So maybe you mentioned the roasting machine that you use. So
Yeah.
It means like you brought this 1 kilo and so you were roasting it in Chicago.
Yeah, so we brought in general, I roasted 1 kilo in Vienna and here to prepare, and also brought some roasted coffee with me to Chicago. And in Chicago, we had 2 kilos of green left. But my plan is always to roast wherever the competition takes place. And I need...
Why?
Yeah, because I can't control the tasting. When I roast it back home, and the coffee doesn't taste that good because the altitude, because of the humidity, whatever kind of reason, you're traveling, your coffee is traveling as well. So you can't control how the coffee will taste, for example, in Chicago. So my plan was to arrive quite early. I was one of the first competitors in Chicago, like 8 days before. And my plan was to like really get comfortable, to roast the coffee, to source the water, and to have enough time to get yourself comfortable and to get yourself also in a good shape. Because sure, you're traveling, you have jet lag, and you need to be like in the best shape for the stage. And so this was the idea to roast in Chicago. And I met Jerome from Link. I met Sam there. They all helped me. They organized a roasting area. So yeah, I wouldn't be here without them. Yeah. It's a lot of teamwork.
Use the 6 minutes profile with 12% development time for a fine sweetness and to get a balance of this tropical fruitness we will taste later. The water I'm using is an Apex water from the founder Simon Gaudier, the 4th innovation for the day. Together with his team, he created 3 different concentrates you can mix for an individual water recipe, depending on the process of your coffee. I use the water I'm using has in total 115 ppm and highlights the red fruity notes of my coffee, like the cherries we will find. One of my favorites
as you are describing the flavor descriptors, was it the same throughout the routines in Chicago, or you need to adjust like based on how the coffee changes or behaves?
Yeah, the coffee, sure, it will change. And the thing is, you need to fix the flavors or the flavor profile in the morning at the same day, as close as possible to your stage time. Because coffee, as we all know, is changing quite so fast. And if there are different parameters, then it will taste different. For example, if you brew your coffee at your Airbnb back home, and then you go to the venue where the competition is, it's a different humidity, different temperature, everything is like, different. So the coffee will taste different. So we fixed the flavor profile in the morning. Was a bit different than the one in the first round. But you have like 15 minutes preparation time and this is quite a stressful moment as well, because 15 minutes at the same day, or like 1.5 hours before your stage time. And I need to set the grinder, I need to find the grind size, I need to taste the coffee, write the flavor profile down. And afterwards you need to know all the flavor profiles.
Yeah,
you need all
to remember. I was
everything.
like, because like another day you said it differently, right? So this is what I would totally mess up, if I compete. I guess that's also the skill you need to develop, I guess, to remember the...
Yeah, you have like, sure, I have like a trick how I'm doing that. And I put together a story through the flavors. And this is the story I have in my head. Or the first letters, for example, like if you have pineapple, pomegranate, whatever. And so I built together like, how we call it? We say, like, in Germany, we say Eselsbrücke, like a trick. And that you remember all the flavors, because it's super stressful. And if you miss one, you will lose points. And if you lose a whole category in the score sheet, you will lose a lot of points. So the flavor profile while brewing is also one part in my routine, what need a lot of attention. So I was not really relaxed at this point, because you need to find the right words. You need to remember the words for the warning. But everything went really good. I was in everything was like rolling. I felt comfortable. And so at this time, I had like my basic flavor descriptors. When I feel uncomfortable and you're stressed or you're back in your time or something happened, So I had my basic flavor profiles, but I also had my extended version of the flavor profile when I feel comfortable and when I feel good on stage. Then you make like the extra, you say like you...
What are the examples of the basic and the extended?
Like you have strawberries, but the extended version is like macerated strawberries. So it's some details, but these details in the finals are important. So if I'm feeling really comfortable and smooth, I was like, okay, the strawberry will make a transition to macerated strawberry. You know, you try to explain it even better. This is just an example. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How many? So you said like, so you were designing the routine, kind of the stages. Like now is like the grinding stage. Now is like, yeah. So how
Yeah, sure. I mean, how many stages are there? There is. You start with rinsing,
Okay, so it's many.
grinding, a lot of steps.
Okay.
But yeah, it should be like a really good workflow in general. Yeah.
Bowman as a barista is creating anticipation for the cup by sharing my flavor profile with you. So please write it down right now.
So this is right now when I start to tell my flavor profile, and you will see I don't have that much eye contact anymore. I need to focus on brewing, and I need to remember all the flavors. So I will calm down, I will slow down a bit to have all the words in my head.
The aroma will welcome you with notes of honeydew, rosehip, and a beautiful cherry, and is medium in the intensity. The flavors are medium in the intensity, and we will see this honeydew again, the cherry, and this morning we found baked pineapple.
Yeah, for example, this morning we found baked pineapple. If I would be like super stressed and feel uncomfortable, I just would say pineapple. But I felt really good and smooth, so I said this morning we found baked pineapple. For example.
When warm, this baked pineapple will turn into a ripe pineapple, and we will add the pomegranate and the passion fruit.
English is a second language.
And when cold, this will turn to beautiful hibiscus iced tea, orange zest, and rosehip. The aftertaste is long and sweet. We see these ripe red fruits when hot, and tropical fruits when cooled down.
This is like the judges need to actually write down all the
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So did you consider like like the speed of like you telling the descriptors so they can actually write it down or something?
Yeah,
like
so I practiced that a couple of times with like friends of mine, also like my sister, and my wife has been my judge to give it a try if they're if they're fast enough. But they're used to write very fast, so
You didn't.
but it's difficult.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. There's a lot of like, a lot of descriptors, a lot of words.
Yeah.
The acidity is medium in the intensity due to the high altitude in Panama, and you see the malic acidity all the way through. And we will add the tartaric acidity when warm and cold. Sweetness is really beautiful. It's medium in the intensity due to the slow drying of lost origin. And we'll see the sweetness.
You know, the sweetness due to the slow drying of lost origin. For example, this is extra explanation you're doing when everything is, for myself, is rolling. Yeah.
Of candied red fruits. And when cooled down, we'll find the tropical juice. And the mouthfeel is medium again. And it's silky when hot. And round and smooth when cooled down. Before I reach you the server to evaluate the aroma, I want to tell you more about the brewing device I just used. I used the Rhea coffee dripper from the founder Horia, the fifth innovation for the day. 6 years ago, he invented a new flat bottom filter with a faster extraction. Today, I'm brewing with a new technology he just released, a flat bottom filter with a modular system where we can remove and attach different kinds of unique bottoms. I use the fast bottom filter. Due to these ribs, you get an even and faster extraction and let the notes of the geisha variety shine even brighter.
For example, with to showcase the dripper and to really have it in your hand and play around with the opening, we implemented that like I think 3 days before.
Okay.
It was not on the list, but we found out while I'm talking about the bottom, you can't understand it when you can't see it. So we need to implement it in the routine. And then you need to find also for the aroma the perfect spot to access the aroma. So you need to measure the time in between. So this is quite a big challenge when you implement something in your routine, you know that everything is on point again. So you need to control the way when you access the aroma, when the judges get the aroma. and so you're measuring the time and all these kind of details.
And you had like this kind of like the things that you would skip if you are kind of like rushing, or if something else. So you had like the segment that you would kind of like skip or change, right? Or
I always had a plan if something happened. I could so to skip this part wouldn't be possible because you need to use all the tools you have. So if there is a tool on the stage that is not used, you get like a bit problems. So this would I need to explain that. But sure, I have in my routine there are some sentences and some topics I can shorten it a bit, or just skip it.
Cool.
But now it's finally time to evaluate the aroma. I ask you to please evaluate 2 times and swill 5 times before and in between. Okay? Are you ready?
It's quite specific.
It is.
Is it on a purpose, like to make it like them focus, or like how did you?
How does it came like that? No, the aroma will change quite fast when you swill 5 times before and then you access it again. So you will find the coffee in a different way.
Yeah.
And to control this step, we always trained like that. So because you get like different experiences with the coffee. Yeah.
Are you ready? Here we go. Please enjoy.
For example, were you confident? How confident were you at this point? Like where the coffee? So now the coffee is brewed.
Yeah.
You are passing it to the judges for the first evaluation. How confident you were? It's good.
Maybe you can see it. I had a big smile in between.
Yeah.
So I know I brewed the coffee in the morning and it was on point. Really, it was the best coffee I ever brewed. It was like in the finals in the morning. And after brewing, the brewing was really good. Everything went like planned.
Okay.
And the main idea was to serve the first carafe at 8 minutes. And I was exactly on time. And I had like 15 seconds always on my side. So this is extra if something happened. So the plan was to serve the first server at 8 minutes. And so I knew serving the first, everything went good while brewing. I served the first server at 8 minutes, so I felt really comfortable after that, yeah.
Nice.
For you as well, please enjoy. And for you as well.
Yeah.
That's a big smile.
Yeah, that's a smile. I know that everything is on.
There was an announcement. Leave the building.
Yeah. You need to, the announcements are quite annoying, to be really honest.
Moving on with our last innovation, the beautiful two-way cups from Gary are the last innovation for the day. With these cups, you can experience the coffee from 2 ways. The white side will change the flow velocity of our coffee and influence the point of impact on our tongue. So paired with the white coloring, let the notes of the beautiful geisha variety shine even brighter. The pink side is dedicated to the lost origin part and will highlight these beautiful red fruity notes you will find in our cups today. I ask you to please evaluate when hot from the white side and when warm and cold from the pink side. Innovations are about the pioneers in our industry and their beautiful expertise. Without their expertise and their way of rethinking, coffee experiences like this wouldn't be possible. So please enjoy this wonderful cup of coffee today.
Last 15 seconds.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So right now,
Well,
You know,
No.
it's done.
and please enjoy for you.
just clean.
Last clean.
Just cleaning.
This is my time.
That's it.
Ah.
Time.
Ooh. So what do you remember about this? Like, okay, so finish like how many? 5 seconds, 4 seconds to 10? So
Yeah.
time.
Everything good. I mean, you need to be under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is the goal. It doesn't matter if you're 9:59 or whatever. But everything was done, and you're standing there and you call your time and everything. So after you call your time, everything is done. There's nothing you can do anymore. So, you're standing there and everything. You lose like 20 kilos. But I was really happy with this routine. And I received a lot of messages afterwards from my friends, from my wife Anna. She was at home, she had no opportunity to come with me. My coach Janine was very happy as well. I was happy, so everything was done, and there's nothing you can do anymore. So waiting for the announcement, but yeah.
So it was all kind of like that came to be the ride, right? You said like the coffee was tasting the best that day of the final, and the routine went well. So I mean, so you felt quite confident, or how did you feel? Like obviously you had a high expectation in a way because you were second, right? Like the year before. So
no, second to last.
Second to last. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
to last.
Second to last. So Athens I was second to last. Yeah. I mean the expectations. If my biggest goal was to make it under the top 6. So I also have a whiteboard at home. There's the training plan and the schedule, and I was writing like some motivation for myself. And I had a hashtag up to 6. This was like my biggest goal was to go under the top 6, and then everything went really good. The coffee tastes perfect on this day. I was really happy. So it doesn't matter what is the final result. Obviously, you're competing and you want to win, sure. But I was already really happy. Yeah. And then,
Give it up for the competitor representing Austria, Martin Wölfl.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Then you have to wait for the announcement.
Well, we don't have it.
We don't have the announcement.
Well, I didn't show the announcement, but like, what was happening in your head, like before you get a trophy? So it was like 6 of you, and I guess it's like always like waiting for your name, right? Like
it is terrible, really. Yeah. You're standing there, you're waiting, and there's name after name, and obviously, as I said, the biggest goal was to make it to the 6. But when you're there, you just want to win because you're there and you want to take the golden one with you. But you were waiting there and it was crowded. There were so many people and you're standing next to your friends. So you know all the competitors from the other countries. You know each other very well. With some competitors, I was competing already some years. So it's also not someone, it's not against someone, it's always with someone, and everyone tried to make the best out of it. But you're standing there and you're waiting for the name, and then standing there, I was like, okay, cool, whatever happens, I'm happy. And Janine and my wife, they said like, it doesn't matter, you can be already very proud. And then you're standing there, and I'm like, okay, 6th place, it's not me. And they're like, okay, cool, fifth place is already good. Then 5th place. 4th place, I was like, I don't want to stand as a 4th because it's like, 4th is quite hard. And then was Ryan at the 3rd. He's a good brewer, a really good barista. And then it was Watabu and me. And this was the first time when I was thinking like, okay, what will happen right now if they call my name as a winner? And it felt like you're standing there completely alone. So Watabu is standing next to you, but you have no idea how many people are watching. You have no idea how many people are in the audience. It feels like you're standing there alone. And it felt for myself like we're waiting for hours to call the last name. Because there are so many things running through your head, like all the trainings you did, how far you went already. But when you're standing there, you want to win it because it's already that close. And was crazy to hear the name.
That's cool. And the rest is the history, right?
Yeah.
Or it's just the beginning of the big journey.
Yeah, let's see. I enjoy it right now. I have a really good time and
perfect, Martin. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for walking with us through the routine.
Yeah, pleasure.
So we hope that you enjoy. Let us know what you think. It's the first time we are trying this commentary on the winning barista and World Brewers Cup Championship routine. Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.